Hello, everyone, and welcome to the pilot episode of the Net Saviors podcast. I'm your host, Adell, and with me is the most illustrious man I have met in my time on this planet, MegaMasterX.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. MegaMasterX here. How are you doing tonight, Adell?
I am cold and tired and probably not in the right mind to do this, but we need to do this.
I absolutely agree and could not agree more. We have a lot to talk about tonight.
Yeah, we've been planning this for a little bit, and then life got in the way, and then life wasn't in the way for like an hour and a half tonight, so we decided to jump on it.
Yep, that is absolutely correct. So, what are we chatting about tonight?
Well, tonight, since this is our pilot, I thought we could start with the beginning of the Battle Network series, which this podcast is about, of course. For those not in the familiar, Mega Man Battle Network is a delightful turn-based, basically a card game.
Yeah.
In which you move on a 3x3 grid, and you defeat enemies on the other side. There's also a PvP function. It's completely busted, but we're not going to go into that in this episode.
Not this one.
So we're going to start with Battle Network 1, which, if memory serves me, that was 2002 that came out?
I believe so.
You're supposed to be the expert. Ooh. Let's find out. I'm curious. When did Battle Network 1 drop? It's Mega Man Battle Network. Oh, I'm sorry. October 31st, 2001. Spooky. I thought it was 2002. Oh, well. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, 2001, we're all kids still. Battle Network 1 drops. Mega Man's been dead for a while, because X...
Legends came out around that time, if I'm remembering correctly.
Did it?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, PS2 was dropping around that time, so I think Legends came out a little before, and that was the last we really had of Mega Man.
That's right, because Legends was 98. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm sure we all saw this in, like, the Walmart or the Target or whatever we're at, and it was just like, whoa, this looks fun. It had a nice bright cover, it looked different, you saw Mega Man, and you're like, Battle Network, what? Mom, I want this.
I like Mega Man.
I wasn't even that big of a Mega Man fan as a kid. I played the originals on the NES, and I played some X and all that, but I kind of just, 64-bit era, I didn't really play a lot of it. And I saw this, and I was like, I got a GBA. I'm kind of over Pokemon right now. Let's go for this. And just by happenstance, I came across this and fell into the delightful world of the Battle Network fandom.
Truth be told, my first Mega Man experience was as a kid on the Super Nintendo with Mega Man 7. My cousin had that rented from Blockbuster at the time, and
Blockbuster?
We played Street Fighter 2 and Clay Fighters, and then he was like, I've got this other game, Mega Man. And I'm like, what? And I played it, and I was enthralled, and I thought bass was so amazing, and I thought it was just really colorful, and the mechanics were easy to grasp, and that was really my genesis with it. And then I picked up Mega Man X, and then stopped. Until Mega Man Legends came out. And then I was like, wow, this is actually really fun. I really like this. And then I decided to dig a little bit more into the series as a whole. And it turns out that Battle Network was just coming out right when I was experiencing Legends and Legends 2. Right before they became excruciatingly hard to find. And, the first Battle Network game, I'll openly admit, the first Battle Network game I played was Battle Network 3 White.
That's a good game to get into. I'll give you that.
Yes.
I'm sure it was a little confusing when Sean showed up and you're like, who the hell are you, kid?
Yeah, pretty much.
But, no, I got into... 1 was my first, I skipped 2, and then I found 3 at a Sam's Club. And
The rest is history.
3 blue. Yeah, I got the blue gay version,
You got folder back out of it, so that's worth it.
Yeah, the gay version. Folder back. Oh, I don't. Gotta hold my tongue. That could be a whole episode.
That is the whole episode. It'd probably
TLDR,
be good for the PvP
awful.
episode. Yeah. But so let's talk some BN1.
Yeah. So Battle Network 1, 2001. It's going on 16 years now, and I'm gonna say I think it shows its age quite well.
It's rocky.
it's It's one of those games. It's kind of like Pokemon Red and Blue. Everyone will look back and they'll say, "Oh man, what a great game." Then you actually go back and play it, and it's garbage. But you have to look at it this way: it sets the it makes the mold that other good things can sprout from. Without Battle Network 1, we wouldn't have 2. We wouldn't, the rest of it. But then without Battle Network, we wouldn't have Star Force either. So take that as you will.
I think that on that same vein, Battle Network came out at a time where Capcom was still in the process of experimenting. They had gone so many years with the jump and shoot platformer Mega Man, and they were really branching out into other genres. Legends is a good example of this, where they took, the traditional jump and shoot man and turned it into a 3D platformer adventure, and it seemed to work out pretty good at that time. But in this instance, they really wanted to break into the handheld market. They really didn't. I mean, they had the Extreme games for the Game Boy.
No!
We don't really talk about Extreme.
I had Extreme. I had the first one. So bad.
It's so terrible.
That didn't even set the precedent for anything. It's just a bad game. Anyway.
So were the original Mega Man, the classic series for Game Boy. Anyway, I digress. So, Battle Network came around in a time where Capcom was just trying to throw signs at the wall and find out what stuck. And they decided to combine genres, which seemed to have worked for them really well. In the past, with Legends, they combined that 3D Crash Bandicoot-like platforming with shooting and one of their IPs.
And kicking a can.
And kicking a can. That's a core game mechanic of Legends. For those that don't know, it's pretty big. But, they combined basically a card battle, not quite turn-based. It was turn-based, strategy, RPG, and they just put it in a bowl, mixed it together. I personally feel like Battle Network 1 was kind of a beta test, if anything, to see if this formula would work, and it sold well enough that it did, and it continued to work for 6 installments.
That's true. And then, I always say it, because when I went and played Battle Network 2, I was like, this is literally Battle Network 1, but better. It is essentially the same game. It has a lot of the same chips. It even has the power-up system.
Yeah.
But it felt better. And we're gonna go into this in a bit. But it told you where you were going. Areas looked unique. Things felt a little more complete. But then Gator existed and ruined the game.
I mean, among other things.
Look, you get Gator really early, and then you just don't care. But
Base is a plot point. I mean, the list can go on.
But Base.
Why was he fighting?
Anyway, no, yeah, Capcom definitely did something really weird, and it's a good weird though. They did regress a little when they came out with Network Transmission. That is not a very good game.
I think, yeah. I mean, they were taking something that worked and started putting it with things that did work in the past, and it just did.
You wanna jump and shoot, man, don't you? Have
battle chips.
No. So, the Battle Network 1, as rough and archaic as it is, and a complete nostalgia trip, there is no two ways about it. It is completely just, oh wow, my childhood memories. It is a game that people should play, so they understand where it all started from, where we got how, our terms come, unfortunately, jack in, and how the battle chip systems evolved over time, and how we originally only had armors to work with.
I'll jack into the squirrel if that's what it takes.
I'll jack into your squirrel. No, oh my goodness. The armor system was just... I hated that the most, even as a kid, because, one, it was never properly really explained in-game.
No.
They're just like, here's an armor system. Well, what does it do? You just take double damage sometimes. Well,
I mean, it explained elements, but that's the only thing that it explained.
Yeah, and power-up system was garbage, so in later installments, Mega Man he gets a thing called a Navi Customizer, and he can power himself up in different ways through that, and it feels like a much more personal play style. In the original game, you got power-up points, and they powered up your Buster Shot, how hard it hit, your speed, and your charge. And it was really, really awkward, because why not power up your, just the shot, right? You hit that nice base of 94, just enough not to break life auras, but just enough to, like, one-shot a lot of things in your way onto the final boss.
I mean, that's pretty much what it is. I mean, I still feel like if you go into playing Battle Network 1 after playing any other game in the series, you're going to end up looking at it really, really objectively. But if you keep in mind that it was the genesis, it was the base, and you hit the nail on the head, really, Adell, by saying that every installment of the game had incremental improvements. Like Battle Network 1 to 2, not much changed, but there were things that changed that were quality of life improvements. Battle Network 2 to 3 were substantial mechanical changes.
Oh my god, that was the leap.
It was, because, I mean, it introduced style changes, it introduced the Navi customizer, it introduced regular chips. Well, BN2 had regular chips, but...
BN2 had style change, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It had hub style, too.
Yeah, but let's put it right. 3 worked on it a little better, because in 2, it just happened once, and you were stuck with that style.
Yes.
And then you got hub style at the end, and that's it, and you're like...
Okay, I guess this is it. This is the game.
Whereas 3, you can switch around multiple times, get different kind of programs for your customizer, and then there you go. Yeah, I don't want to talk about 3, because 3 is a very special game.
It is, and I'm pretty sure we could do an entire episode just based on 3.
3 episodes on it.
But so let's let me pose this question to you. I'm going to kind of hijack things a bit.
Oh, good lord, here he goes.
If you were to pin 1 to 3 things that were your absolute favorite things about Battle Network 1 specifically, but that sucked, what would they be?
Program advances, the internet itself, and honestly, I'm going to say this, I think the overworld as well. Yeah, I had to think on that last one, because there's a lot of things wrong with BN1, but do you remember the cars?
Yeah. Oh, God.
Do you remember how they stopped putting cars into the games after BN1?
Oh, God.
When Capcom realized, hey, you know how much room we could save if we didn't have this stupid repeating car?
I mean, in BN1, it made sense because it was a plot point, right? In the Colored Man scenario, like, you had to be in a town, and, like, the threat of traffic was a thing.
Yeah, but why did they need them in, AC/DC? Like,
make it feel more alive.
Oh,
no.
Oh, Lord, help me.
We're anime dub now.
MegaMasterX.
No, it's Torchman and Wacko Man.
Wacko Man? Boy.
Heavy metal man. Alright, anyway.
I'm Drillman, but not Drillman.exe.
Oh, God. So
yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, go right ahead.
I was going to say, the cars are a part that really just angered me as a child, because I saw them going by, and I'm like, why can't I jack into these? Why are they here? What is the point? They serve no purpose except to maybe get in your way if you ever touch that part of the street. And a lot of things just felt, I guess, really big, but kind of limited. Like, the sprites were nice and big, everything was just large, but it didn't feel like you could really go a lot of places. I guess...
Yeah, I could see that.
I guess that's what made me feel really, like... That's one thing, it looks nice, but at the same time it angers me that it's just limited in that sense. Oh man, big sprites. Oh, whatever. That's why when they switched over in 3 to 4 to little, smaller, more compact sprites, the world exploded. It was so big now, so many areas to hit. And so yeah, but
that's absolutely true. And I think Battle Network 1, it really shows that closed area-ness. If you look at places like Scilab, for instance, or the government complex, like, it's all sequestered into areas, and like the downtown area where the Color Band scenario takes place, I mean, you have to transition like 6 times in order to get from the edge of the map, the quote-unquote edge of the map, to the end of it, I mean, it's absolutely crazy, and it's pretty obvious that it was really poorly optimized, too. But I think the art style does attribute quite a bit to it. I think you're right.
Yeah, other than that, like I said, program advances and the actual internet itself. Because my biggest issue... Okay, program advances, for those not in the know again, are when you put certain chips in order in your select screen, and you go into battle, after select, you select them, you go into that round, they will power up into one big attack that you can blow off on someone, and it is just sounds so wrong, it is the best feeling. When you slap someone with the life sword, or you hit them with the mega cannon, you're just like, oh, baby.
Definitely, especially when you get an Infinity Vulcan from Battle Network 4.
Ugh. Oh, my lord.
So satisfying.
Yes, it is. But the issue I have with it is, in Battle Network 1 especially, some of the combinations either don't make sense to me, or they're busted. They're straight up busted as hell, and it's just not fair. And PvP kind of suffers from this. So you have simple ones like the life sword, which is, you put sword, wide sword, long sword, and then you get a bigger sword that deals 400 damage. Okay, cool. Makes sense. Then you get weird, and you get things like Death Storm, Typhoon, Hurricane, Cyclone. Okay, that makes sense. Repair. Or Bloodsuck. Drain 1, Drain 2, Drain 3. Wave. Wave. So, that it gets weird, and it can really clog up your folder, because then you actually have to dedicate room, and these chips might not be really good on their own. But I guess that's the payoff of using a program advance. The normal chips kind of suck, but when you combine them correctly, you get like that big payoff. But I don't know. Playing so much BN6 PvP, it kind of shows like a lot of chips can be strong on their own, and then, like we usually do, the corn shot meme.
Yeah.
And corn shot is not a very good chip. But corn fiesta can actually pump out some damage if you get it in the right spot. So, I don't know. I think program advances have definitely amped up correctly over time. And they've definitely streamlined having to put in, like, really weird things. Especially, like, Sigma Wave. Do you remember the Sigma series?
Oh, my God.
You needed 5 chips. All of them being Quake 1, 2, or 3 for that. And it's like, oh, I need 5 Quake 1s? Hello? Or 5 waves, or 5 swords. It's like, Jesus Christ. And it doesn't do anything. They don't even do anything, really. It's like, okay, Mega Man can use wave attacks 9 times.
That's it.
That's it. And, again, good ideas. They had, like, the Omega, the Beta, the Sigma. They didn't have an Alpha series, though.
No,
which was weird. But, and Zeta. Can't forget Zeta. Zeta Lance.
Oh, my God.
Is shoot a demand. So, my biggest gripe is that there's a lot of program advances in one. I think one might actually have... No, I don't think it has the most. It has 36. Which is a lot. To be quite honest.
It's up there. It's one of the games with the most program advances.
Actually, hang on. I'm about to be wrong about that. I think it is the game with the most program advances. Oh my lord, it is. Yeah,
by
so
a factor
that
of 2 or 3.
Yeah. Like, 2 and 3 only have 32 and 30, respectively.
Yep.
So, yeah, no, they just added a lot of things that, like you said, it's kind of a beta test. They tested the waters, and there were some really cool ones. Powered Cannon was radical as all hell.
Oh, it looked amazing, too.
You turned into a giant gun, like, with legs. Like, how can you not like that?
Like, there's a program advance where Gutsman teleports down, picks Mega Man up, and just throws him. Like, what? That's crazy.
Yeah, Guts Shoot was really cool. And they kept that. They kept that for a long time until they phased out Gutsman.
Yeah.
God bless. No. I miss Gutsman. He is a good chip. But Yeah, like you said, it was more of a beta test. Like, they tried out the Sigma series, all this other stuff, and it's like, okay, kids are going to play this. Who's going to really care about the PvP aspect? But then, if you want to go back as when you're older and try it out, you realize B is like the best folder.
It is. In BN1, yeah.
Yeah, because you get double hero, you get all the swords, you get Proto Man, who actually pumps out the most damage, the barrier, and it's just...
It's unparalleled. There was no balance there, because I don't think Capcom really... They, like, slapped the functionality in, but I don't think they really gave it thought. Because there's a lot of, like, defensive chips, too, that are obscenely broken.
Yes.
Like, pop-up, or, you know, the invis levels, or the auras, yeah.
The biggest... And going on to... So, like I was saying, it's kind of convoluted, it's very beta-testy, but then there's the broken ones, like Gut Shoot, which just pumps out 500 damage. That is an insane amount of damage. I think you only get like 1,000 HP in-game.
Yep.
And there's no way to power that up further. So, already, if you get hit with this, that's half your life. Or, Lifesaver.
Oh, God.
Where Roll will come down, heal Mega Man completely, and make him invincible for 30 seconds.
Which is a big deal.
Yeah, 30 seconds may not seem long. Like, we're about to pass 30 seconds just talking right here. But when you're playing a game where you only have 9 squares to move around, and each move can mean, you know, either you win or you lose, 30 seconds of not being able to hit your opponent while he slaps you is the worst thing in the world.
It is.
And, so that's my whole, like, I guess, rant about program advances in 1. Just, rough. I guess fun from a weird aspect, because you do dumb shit like Omega Raton.
Oh, yeah. That is true.
Aha! And it's garbage damage, but it's hilarious, because you're just throwing, for 10 seconds, stupid homing rats.
Now there's multiple mice, yeah!
But on the other hand, from, like, looking back on it, again, you have to clear away the shroud of nostalgia and look at it and say, this is not a very good system. This is a very rough system, and again, it set the precedent, but it is not good in this game.
No.
Yeah.
I think there's, you know, we had talked a little bit about this before. I actually struggled to find what I really dug about the series. Because it's not something that you can just say, oh, well, I really like XYZ because of ABC or anything like that. But, I mean, where do I even begin? Can we talk about Load Chod for a moment?
Yes, Load Chod.
The localization in this game and many other Capcom titles is abysmal.
It really is. So, MegaMasterX was doing a stream the other night, which we're going to plug that at the end. You should check it out. It's great. He was playing Battle Network 1, and you come across the part where you run into Proto Man for the first time. And he introduces himself. He's like, oh, I'm not a World 3 Navi. And then, Proto Man, what's the matter? Load Chod is the first thing he says. Instead of Lord or, you know, Sir, Load. L-O-A-D.
Like loading up a basket of French fries in the oven or something. I don't know.
And then we catch the next part where he's talking to us, but they forget to switch the portrait. So, what happens in this instance?
So, like, I don't know. And this is something that kind of carries throughout the entire Battle Network series, too. There's, like, there's, like, small snafus that you just really catch, and they're gems. Like, Legs Go Land in Battle Network 3, I think?
No, 4.
No, it was 4. It was 4. Mm-hmm. And there's just these really, like, charming small snafus that if you're, like, blowing through the game and just speed reading, you won't really catch, but if you take your time with it, you'll see them.
Yeah, it happens in a lot of Capcom localizations. Like, I'm playing Dual Destinies, Phoenix Wright. They are missing so many pronouns, or they're missing certain words in there, and I just look at it and like, how could you not fit the or you? Like, why are your articles and your pronouns? What are you doing here? Like, are we that desperate to save some money?
Oh, God. Nostalgia. But
yeah, no, that's all it is. And you're like, oh man, I remember how cool it was to fight these net navies. And you're like, yeah, it was great to put out that electrical fire with the water gun.
right. Third degree burns are worth jacking in and saving your lunch, right?
I mean, look, dude, this Lunchable is very important.
The pizza was really actually pretty good. But
I was going to add on to it at the end. But yeah, and then Proto Man introduced himself, and then Chud's supposed to be like, and this is my NetNavi, protoman.exe. But they forgot to flip the portrait, so it's Protoman saying it. Protoman is introducing himself as, this is my NetNavi, protoman.exe, and you're like,
okay.
What?
Yeah.
What is science done?
It's like, I don't know. Like I said, it's pretty charming in a weird mistake way.
Right.
But, that's one aspect. I've got a couple others. Like, we were talking about the battle system for a little bit and program advances, and it kind of got me thinking, too. One of my favorite things about Battle Network, 1 specifically, I think it's in 2 as well. Yeah, it is in 2. Is the ability to do what's called adding chips. So when your turns kick up, Battle Network is a turn-based strategy game for combat. So when you start the game, if you have no power-ups that change it, you get to draw 5 chips from a deck of 30 chips that you specify. And in Battle Network 1 and 2, you have the ability to just hit a button on that custom screen at the beginning of the turn. And you have to go the entire turn without any battle chips. You just have the Mega Buster. But which
is really rough.
It is, especially since you need a power-up, at least one power-up in charge in order to be able to charge your Buster in Battle Network 1 at all. Yeah. So when you go back to the custom screen, you get 5 additional chips. However, if you choose from those chips and finish the turn and go to the turn after that, you don't get to keep those extra 5 chips, which is a huge drawback of it. It's really annoying, actually. But in a game with so many program advances, it's very, very helpful to dig through your folder. You have a 15 out of 30 chance of getting, the chips that you want. Or, you're looking at 15 out of 30 of your chips at a screen after 2 turns.
That was the really big thing about 1 and 2. So in later games, you can only choose up to 10. If you add, you get up to 10 chips. In the first 2, you can have half your deck available if you choose to skip 2 turns.
Yep. Which
is like, whoa, how can I not find something now? But then they disappear.
If you're playing single player too and not doing competitive or anything like that, it's really easy to just survive because all of the navies, all of the bosses have extremely predictable AI. Like they telegraph their moves, and you would have to we all make mistakes, but it's really difficult to not see any of it coming.
Yeah, they telegraph very hard. But again, it's a good learning mechanic because later on, especially when you fight Bomb Man, or Base later on in that, it gets really rough because their telegraph is split second kind of thing. Especially
bases.
Yeah. But in, the first couple, like Torchman, he takes his time. He spits out these napalm bombs and they show where they're going to land. And you can move around. Or when he's about to hit you with his full screen thing, or, in one row, he takes 2 seconds to charge up. So it gives you enough time to be like, oh, I should move up or down,
Torchman.
Torchman's a joke.
Fireman.
Oh, look, man. Look. His name is Torchman.exe.
It's Fireman.exe in the game.
It's Torchman.
I will bet you Zenny.
I know it's Fireman, but look, we don't say Fireman. Why didn't they call him Fireman in the dub?
It's because they would get kids confused. Is that a fireman? Can I go to the fire station and see the NetNavi or whatever?
That makes no sense. That literally makes it... I've been watching it recently as... It's so bad, it's hilarious.
It is.
Oh my god.
It's
but now I'm
deliciously
confusing my names, and it's starting to wear on me, and it's not a good thing.
It's because you didn't eat your calcium.
Oh.
Don't forget to eat your calcium here.
Legs go.
But, so, realistically, I don't really have any other points that you didn't already cover. I think you covered them all pretty well.
Well,
The overworld, I kind of on that vein too. I don't like the fact that the overworlds in Battle Network 1 all look the same. Because, I mean, at one point, spoilers, if you haven't played Battle Network 1, first of all, shame on you. Second of all, you would probably know where this is. But in Battle Network 1, you go to the Undernet, which is kind of like the dark web. But
we're talking about the internet overworld now, not the LAN overworld.
Oh, yeah.
Very important.
So yes, that is true. But like in a part of the game, you go into the Undernet and it just looks the same. It's not. There's nothing that just jumps out at you like in the later games.
Same gray platforms. Same. Well, I guess there's like a different background, but you can't really tell.
It's barely noticeable. It blends in because it's all the same color scheme basically.
And the only way you know you're there is you start getting bombarded with things that are actually beyond your probable skill level at that point.
Oh god.
Especially as a kid.
If you didn't have escape chips, you were pretty much screwed in the Undernet. It even warns you in the story that, hey, viruses are a lot stronger here, but they don't prepare you for exactly how strong they are.
No, because post-game, you beat the final boss, and then you have the choice to keep playing. You go back, and it has, like, you can open up different things because you've beaten the final boss at one point. So you wander into the Undernet, kind of by accident, and then suddenly you run into Shadow Man.
Oh, God.
Pharaoh Man. Base. Bomb Man. You know, and just like, what? Whoa. Why?
It's pretty brutal.
It really is. And there's no rhyme or reason. And I get that, it's the Undernet. It's all this stuff. But it's just... It's not a very good curve, especially for something that's supposed to be a child's game. Like, I remember going there as a kid and just getting really upset because I couldn't handle this. Oh, my fighter sword is no good here. I can't break the aura. I'm getting deleted. I'm like 12 trying to play this and I don't understand. So, not a very good curve, and like you said, you have no idea you get there. There's nothing to prompt you. You've entered the Undernet. There's nothing to stop you except, I think, a World 3 door.
Yep.
And, again, the only way you know is when you get attacked. When you get jumped, you know you're there because you lose the game.
When it's too late, you know you're there.
Yeah, and there's no way you save before going in that door. You didn't know it was, you're like, oh, well, whatever. I'm out of here.
Yeah. Or you got confused or lost because there's no semblance of direction or map in the game.
Oh. Bringing that up and going back to the Internet Overworld, I remember when I had to fight Stone Man. It took me 2.5 days to find him because I had no idea where... He's in Scilab!
Of all places.
Like, you jack in and you wander in and you're like, am I in Scilab yet? Because I don't think you could jack straight into Scilab from the government complex, could you?
No, you had to go all the way through through some comp in AC/DC.
Yep. They didn't start introducing, like, location jack-ins until, I think, 2.
No, they had location jack-ins.
Well, I mean, like, like you go to Scilab, you jack into Scilab.
Right. But I think the closest thing they had in Battle Network 1 was you could go to Yai's house or Mail's house and jack in there and go to their home pages. I think Yai's was the closest to Scilab's HP, but you had to beat Dex in order to get that key to go into Scilab for some reason.
Right.
It's never explained whatsoever. It's just...
I hold the key to Scilab, Lan.
Exactly. It's like, hey, here's a key to my web page or something, and it's like, who gave you this? Who hired you?
But I just remember I was wandering. I'm like, am I here? I don't know. I think I'm here. There was no guide. I didn't have a guide. I refused to look on GameFAQs at the time. This was, again, 2001. So GameFAQs was pretty prehistoric even then. And it was troubling. And they fixed this in Operate Shooting Star, but Operate Shooting Star is a whole different vein.
Yes.
And they may have fixed it, but we're on the GBA, and in that time, it was the worst thing in the world having to navigate the same gray platforms that go up and down. There's no, welcome to Scilab person. There's no Mr. Prog to tell you, some little clue tidbit. Oh, the government complex is very secure. You know, you gotta hope. And then you find Snowman. You're like, he's easy, and you just call him a dick and you walk off.
That's pretty accurate, actually. I think the weirdest part about that whole scenario for Stone Man was the fact that it's like, hey, Stone Man threw a rock onto the metro. Go to Scilab. Like, what? It doesn't make... The locations don't make sense.
No. What's the final thing? Oh, yeah, we said the overworld itself and the internet. So, yeah, that's about it. Really, again, internet... I like the idea of this whole... The good thing about all of it, though, and I think this is something that kind of falls apart in the later series, is that the internet actually felt connected. It was interesting that I could walk from my home computer through the entire internet overworld without having to go to certain places to get to certain things or access the next area, which kind of started happening in 3, where you would like jack into the Hades comp, and then that gives you access to the internet you already had access to, but you couldn't progress from that because you had to go to the specific location on an island to get, and it's just like...
I think it made like a really cohesive experience, right? It gave meaning to what the internet was, because at the end of the day, the internet, the internet world and Battle Network is just an interconnected version of the real world.
Oh yeah, no, totally.
Which, I mean, it really... And I think BN3 does a good job of it. BN4 does a pretty piss-poor job of it. BN5 does a fantastic job of it. Mm-hmm. And BN6 is kind of... BN6 does it okay as well.
I was not pleased with BN6's internet overworld.
No. But, like, the comps that you jacked into for each of, like, the boss encounters and the scenarios for BN6 were really, really well done, at least.
Yeah, except for the book. I never understood the book.
That
was dumb. Like, oh, you can jack into this, but I want you to jack into the book to fight him. What is this?
Yeah, okay. It makes no sense.
Wireless book.
Is this a Kindle? But, please don't... Just kidding, Amazon. Please don't sue us. Oh, my God. And I think... So... I've got one last point, though, that I really, really like about Battle Network 1, and that actually is the PvP. And the reason I say that is because in Battle Network, your chips adhere to a code system. So every chip that you have has a code tied to it that's a letter of the alphabet. And you can use multiple chips of the same code each turn.
Star codes didn't exist in that game,
Star codes did not exist.
Right, so you had A through Z.
And Battle Network 1 is what we affectionately call alphabet soup, because they're like Adell said, I mean, really the only code that was worth anything was B code.
Maybe R, but B was where it was at, and maybe G. Because G gave you access to Gut Shoot and Guts Punch, or the Gut Straight thing, yeah.
I mean, if you're speedrunning, absolute G code.
But, and then R gave you access to Lifesaver. But again, B had the strongest chips in it.
It did, power-wise. And in a world where you could have sub 1,000 or 1,000 HP max, it's a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you could have up to 5 chips of each.
Exactly. And there wasn't any... It was... Like, even like top-tier chips, you could have 5 Gutsmen if you wanted to. If you could... If you got really... Exactly. Like, you could really game probability, and that made competitive really interesting. Mm-hmm. Unless you had someone that got really lucky with chip drops and had auras or pop-up.
Right. One thing I'd like to point out is the Program Advanced Double Hero takes 4 chips. Fighter Sword, Knight Sword, Hero Sword, Proto Man, any one of the 3. You could drop 5 Fighter Swords, Knight Swords, Hero Swords. Okay, that's 15. 5 Proto Men. That's 20.
Yeah.
That's 20 of your chips. You can make the last 10 anything you want. And B still had a ton of options in it.
I don't think that... I think you were not able to use a Program Advance more than once per match. I can't remember.
See, back to the test.
Because, like, if I wish I remembered more specifically.
I mean, I guess you'll just have to test it next time it comes up, and then we'll report on it next episode.
Totally. I think that's a great thing for going to the lab on.
Be good on your stream. All right, we're gonna have to test this now. Crap! I can't use Sigma Wave twice. Oh no!
I just wasted these fighter swords. They do nothing. So what?
Alphabet soup, and it was a mess, but it had to be done. You had to have a broken system to work into something more cohesive.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
So, next topic. I do believe this is something we hate, but worked.
Mind if I take first?
Go ahead, please.
Can we talk about the power-up system for a moment? I want to dig a little bit further on that.
Let us retouch on the power-up system. So, I hate it, because 94 pisses me off, and you need entirely too much investment, and they're finite. You cannot max everything out.
Nope. If you max out speed, you're just absolutely wrecked, because, I mean, the power-ups themselves are excruciatingly expensive. I think the first power-up you encounter in a net dealer on the internet is 2,000 zenny, and an HP memory is 500 zenny to start. So
it's like,
and like you quote unquote get a power up from Dad, which is cool, I guess.
Thanks, Dad. You finally did something. Oh.
I mean, he doesn't even give it to you at first. At first, he's like, "I got a power up for you, but I can't send it via email because it's too big." And then later on, he's like, "Oh, just kidding. I compressed it." But
I stuck it in the zip file. Here you go, son. Ah.
Thanks, Dad. I love you.
Yeah, I gotta back to work.
Work, Kappa. He's like, come to my lab, and he's never there. He's never there.
Oh, Dr. Akari's busy. I'm his assistant. He wanted me to get this to you. What?
Can you be my dad? But, anywho.
Oh. Well, that's a good episode topic. Why Lan's dad is the worst dad.
The same way Wiley is the world's worst dad.
I don't know. At least he raised his kid.
Oh, shots fired to the Hikari family. But back to the power-ups.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it was in Battle Network 1 at least, it was a very half-baked system. And it's very, very obvious right from Jump Street, right?
Right.
Because, like you said, I mean, you can only get up to 94 damage on your Buster. And it's not consistent. Like, your Buster, if you power up with one charge, does 11 damage. Like, that logically makes no sense. Where does that number come from? It's completely arbitrary.
You see, it's 10 plus the Buster, so 11.
Capcom logic. Damn, you're right.
Got him.
You're right. And then, like, speed. Speed is a useless stat. Because, I mean, let's get real. The closer you are to an enemy in Battle Network 1, the faster you shoot as it is, right?
Yes.
You just do more damage quicker by charging your Buster. It's a useless stat.
The downside to that is, the closer you are to your enemy, the less time you have to react to their attacks.
That is true.
So speed is worthless.
I will say that the power-up system did do one good thing, though.
What's that?
The power-up system gave you a power curve in that it drip-fed you. I mean, the Buster is a core mechanic. Like,
yes, it's not Mega Man without a Buster.
It's your downtime. It's your filler. It's what you use when your chips either miss or are unavailable, or when you're adding them. It's a key part. You're shooting lemons. All right, you're shooting lemons. So it does a great job of drip feeding those power-ups to you at key points of the game where they make a substantial difference, to a point where you're not really at a disadvantage if you're keeping up with being able to get the power-ups.
That's fair. Which is actually really difficult to do.
It is.
Because you get scraps for money in that game. BN1 is very stingy on their money.
That's true.
Until you get to the internet.
Well, I mean, the internet's like the Wild West, right? So it's...
Yeah. hey man, either you either get something good or you don't. But no, like, and again, it's finite. So either you have a really strong buster, a really fast shot, which I don't know why you'd want that, or you just charge up your crappy shot really fast.
Yeah.
Which you actually needed to invest in charge because, the charge system is so bad in BN1. It takes forever to charge, and there's 2 levels of charge.
Which is consistent with the other Mega Man games.
Yes, exactly. It's like, okay, you have a small shot, then you got a big shot. But in Battle Network, I don't think it translated very well, because it really messed up, like, oh crap, I shot him with the green instead of the red. Uh-oh.
And it shows that wasn't... The incremental change between 1 and 2 was a pretty good indicator that Capcom was like, that doesn't work really well. Let's change it.
Yeah. Again, Mega Man Battle Network beta test.
Exactly.
But I can agree with that. The power system did work really well.
But I hate it. Oh, I hate it.
So I'm trying to think of something I hate, because power system is something we all hate. I know exactly, and it's very specific.
What's that?
The escape chip.
That's a good one, actually.
The escape chip. So, in Battle Network 1, if you got into a fight that wasn't quite up your alley, you had no option to run. As they did in later installments, you could just tap the shoulder button. Mega Man, should we run? Okay. And then, you're done. Or you attempt to go. It's an RNG thing. Most of the time you get out of there. But in 1, you could not leave unless you used the very specific F chip of escape.
Yeah.
And if you use that, you got out of that. No problem. But you had a 1 in... Or
5.
however many you have in... Yeah, basically. However many you have in your deck chance out of 30 to get out of there. And if you didn't run 5, you probably weren't going to draw that 1 you put in there. It's like, 1 escape's enough, and then the game doesn't even give you a lot of escapes.
No, it doesn't. You have to either get all of them or get really lucky with the chip trader.
Yes. Which, I mean, it's easier to dupe the chip trader in 1 because it doesn't save.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, they changed that in 3. So, the chip trader is you throw 3 chips in, 3 whatever, here's 3 waves, whatever, they're gone. And it pops out a random chip in exchange. And that's usually how you fill up a lot of, like, your empty slots sometimes in your library of chips. The issue is, though, you can only get certain chips from it, like escape. And so that means you have to trade in 3 things and hope for the best. But if you did it right, you saved before you put the 3 in, you just reset your game each time until you got that escape chip.
Yeah.
And then you reflex reset, and then you're like, damn it! But that was the good thing. They changed that stayed in 2, they changed it in 3, and it made sure, like, every time you did it, it saved as you did it. So,
yep.
No getting around that.
Unfortunate, but you could get literally every chip in the game from the chip trader.
Yes.
Every single one. You could have a base chip right out of the game. You could
pull base early if you, like, did it enough. It's like a 1 in 176 chance.
Yep.
Oh.
Good odds.
Really, that's stressful odds.
It is.
On that note, though, there is something that carried over from Battle Network 1 into the later games, and that is versions of NetNavis.
Oh, yeah.
So, it kind of got weird after... In 3. 3 is the one where they went overboard with versions, because they had up to 5. And the version 5s were, Giga chips. We're going to get into that later. They were just really hard to get, but they were really strong. Every other game, though, 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6, only had 3 versions. Which worked, but it was very odd, too, for that number, I guess. I don't know. It made the creep kind of weird.
Well, I mean, the concept of having levels for a Navi was really interesting.
Yes.
Because if you encountered the ghost version of the Navi on the internet, I mean, it was pretty obvious that, hey, this isn't the same Navi that you fought during the story. It's completely powered up.
Right. Which, I kind of like the idea of, like, oh, they were upgrading their net Navi at their, like, home base, but some of the scraps of data got out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's formed up. And, again, Battle Network's got, like, a lot of cool meta lore to it, if you look into it, but that's another topic.
It is. I mean, we can touch on it a little bit here.
Yeah.
Because it's pertinent to being one, but...
Right.
I think that there are a couple of other parts of BN that weren't really explored, I feel, or that were, like, completely missed. Like, hang on.
Oh.
Gotta edit that out.
My co-host is dying.
I'm dying. The virus breeder and Dad's computer.
Oh my god.
Never mentioned. It's just there, and if you touch it, you start a battle, and you're like, okay, that's kind of cool, but why? Because you don't get any rewards from it, if I'm remembering correctly.
No, you don't. You just fight him and then it's over.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I feel like there were more things that Capcom wanted to try with it, but just didn't, or they did at a later installment, like the Virus Breeder in Battle Network 3.
Oh, that was such a good mechanic. It was awful, like, actually getting them, but I like the idea of having to... Oh, there's a quest line you can do, and you can fill this thing with viruses. That worked for you. It's like, whoa.
And you can raise them and power them up. It's great.
The chips suck, but whatever. Don't use it in PvP.
Except Scuttless. Scuttless was really good.
You can't go wrong with Scuttless, though.
You can't, because they have auras. I mean, the viruses have auras. The chip is just a beam, but anyhow.
I mean, the beam's strong. I think the beam got up to 300.
Yeah, it did.
Ugh.
It's pretty disgusting, but be that as it may.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't mean to derail you.
No. That's a good. I like that. It's actually a good segue into what I wanted to get into next. But yeah, there's a lot of like little things in there that they mention, they kind of poke at, but nothing ever really comes of it. But I will use that as a segue into something I'm flipped about. Like, I'm on both sides of the spectrum about this. And that is the transition of Robot Masters, because all the most of the Robot Masters in the Battle Network, or in the main Mega Man series, not X, are transitioned into Net Navis. And they have more of a stylized appearance. There's no hair. There's no clothes, Things are solid shapes. They're programs. They can't have flowing pieces, except Base, because he's a special snowflake.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, to an extent, Proto Man's hair, but, like, his hair is a weird thing, because it's not really hair. It's kind of an extension, like Roll's little antenna. So... I don't know. Proto Man's in a weird spot, but he's a fan favorite. So whatever.
True. I mean, I think that on that note, I think that they did a really solid job of transitioning every Robot Master into Navis, including creating some new ones. Like, I don't think Starman had a dupe. Gemini Man was used in Star Force, but was never in Battle Network.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a couple of others, but...
I think Snowman was probably one of the better ones that they transitioned over.
Because I think so, too.
He was basically just a Gutsman clone.
True. That's actually true.
And so instead of just putting that, it's like, oh, here's Gutsman, but he's made of rock. Instead, they make this gigantic square golem-looking thing with, disjointed limbs. And it actually just says, hello. You're like, oh, this man is made of stone. Could this be Stone Man?
Thinking emoji.
That being said, though, they did bad ones, I think, like Beast Man and Slash Man. Why does Slash Man look like Beast Man? Look at Slash Man as a Robot Master, looks a lot like Beastman.
It does. I wonder. I have to wonder if that was like a story-based choice in BN3 based off of where they were, or I don't know. It fits. It fits.
It does.
Capcom did a really good job of transitioning things.
Yeah, no, totally. What was your favorite one?
Favorite Navi?
Yeah, like that they transitioned over.
Ooh, that's actually a really, really tough decision. If I had to pick one, well, no, there's no classic parallel for Number Man.
Nope.
That's a good question. I'm gonna be really weird with this. I'm gonna say Bubble Man.
You know, I'm okay with that, actually.
I say Bubble Man because if you take classic Bubble Man and Navi Bubble Man, they look strikingly similar. Mm-hmm. But they did a good job of updating the design to be to the Battle Network standard.
Right.
If we're talking about strictly Battle Network 1, I would have to say probably Pharaohman.
I was going to say him or Skullman, actually.
Skullman's good, too. I feel like they really modernized Skullman's design, too.
Yeah.
And to an extent, Pharaohman's. Like, they're not indistinguishable from one another, but they feel and look upgraded, so...
Yeah, because Pharaohman, his only discerning feature originally in the Mega Man Classic series is that he has an Egyptian kind of headpiece. That's it.
He ain't got no legs.
Well, no. In the original one, he has legs, he has arms. He's just a robot with a headpiece.
Yeah.
But in Battle Network, he's a sarcophagus. He's, with his weird... His arms are really weird.
They are.
Like, they're not connected, which is fine, but they don't do anything.
They're useless.
And he floats, and he feels, I guess, more Egyptian-like. And it's a really good touch that it actually needed.
Do you think that part of that has to do with the setting in the anime, where he was actually in a literal cyber pyramid?
Maybe. I kind of like his thing in the manga a little more.
The manga was stellar.
Yeah, that'll be a good episode topic.
Oh.
Because they transition in a way I wish the games could have.
The manga does a lot of things that I wish both the games and the anime would do. Like, I don't know. That would be a good episode. Because I've got a lot of opinions.
But then we got to Battle Network 6 in the manga, and it's just like...
I feel like they ran out of budget, and were like, crap, we still have 2 games to go through. Quick, throw beasts in there.
Double Soul, Beast, what?
Suddenly, Mega Man has an epiphany and sees beasts from a faraway dimension.
More 11. Oh, did you feel that? Feel what? Oh, it's nothing. Go.
Barnaby, fetch my pet. We must jack in.
It's a PET. I wonder if they call them pets or PETs.
They're pets in the Japanese version, and
okay.
PET is just arbitrary. I think because I don't know why they spell it out, because it stands for personal terminal, where PE are the two first letters of personal, and T is terminal. There's no reason to spell it out. It doesn't make sense. Pet really makes the most sense, but
Petto.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say easily Pharaohman and Skullman. I really wish Skullman had come back in some form in a later game.
Yeah.
Or Sharkman too.
Sharkman, ooh.
Like, BN1 had a lot of really good navies, but they just kind of fell by the wayside. Instead, we get a Lekman back.
Again.
Who cares about Lekman? I honestly think Lekman's one of my least favorite.
Cutman's my least favorite.
Yeah, he's just Cutman.
That's all he is.
You can't mess up Cutman. He's just Cutman. But where's Crashman? Oh, man.
Oh. What about Turbo Man? Turbo Man's kind of similar. He's in Battleship Challenge, though.
You mean Land's Fever Dream?
It happened between 1 and 2.
Yeah, he fell asleep. Between 1 and 2. Good for him.
He's late for school, too, probably.
God. Wake up, Land. No. Yeah.
I don't want to. I got to spend 3,000 zennies to get 10 chips.
Oh my god, that game was so... Ugh,
It's
what a
garbage.
time sink.
It was, but it was, I don't know, it was mindless fun.
It really was until you got base, and then it's like, I win.
Oh, yeah.
I win.
That's it, GG.
Haha, Aura, you lose, kid.
Run a bit 3, have fun trying to get through this.
Unga. So, the NetNavi designs are really good. One thing I've always really liked that, I think I got this tidbit from you, was that the spikes on the back of MegaMan.exe's head were actually a graphical glitch originally, weren't they? Like they had some issue with, getting his helmet round, and they couldn't get it right, and they just kind of stuck out and they left it in.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, oh, that's a nice... See, it worked out. It's a nice little touch, just go with it. It adds a little more flavor to him. Gives him, like, little rod in the back.
It does. And then, I mean, they kind of just took it and ran with it in terms of, like, who it is, and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they had gone a little more into things with Mega Man. Like, we learned a lot about Lan. We learned a few things about Mega Man, but they don't really delve into... I feel like 3 touched the closest to who Mega Man really is.
They did at the end of 1.
Well, yeah, obviously. I mean,
Because, I mean, that's the big reveal. And it's actually, if you really take a step back and look at Battle Network 1 subjectively, that was a really emotional reveal at a very clutch time of the story.
Oh, no, totally. And then they had to become closer because they couldn't defeat the Light Virus separately. It's just like, wow.
But, like, there's one other layer of it, too, because if you actually, like, take your time and play through and talk to the NPCs in Dr. Hikari's lab, he mentions using almost human-like NetNavis. And most people just shrug it off, but, like, if you read that, and it kind of sets the tone in the back of your head, and then you just remember it right when the time comes, and you're like, holy crap, like, it's a lot at once, so... yeah.
I still remember there was where we had that discussion on the Discord chat about, it would be so easy to sequence the human genome as 1s and 0s, and I'm just thinking, like, are you serious? Hello? No.
I mean, if we really think about it, I mean, it took Dr. Hikari, 13 years at the beginning of Battle Network 1 in order to be able to actually have, probably a little sooner, because they start Battle Network 1 with Mega Man. Whereas in the anime, he's given to Lan, and in the manga,
How old is Lan?
Actually,
Lan's 10, isn't he?
Lan, I'm pretty sure...
Because he's in the 5th grade.
Yeah, he's 10.
Yeah.
So Hikari's been working on this for pushing a decade.
Right, which is... Oof.
It's a lot of time to be working on a specific project. I mean, he worked on the pets too, of course.
Yeah. I still love that the 0.2 difference... Okay, let's... Because everyone's probably, if you don't know it, I'm sorry, you should play it. Mega Man is Lan's twin brother, who died of a disease when he was a baby. So Dr. Hikari brought him back as Mega Man in a computer program with his DNA. And at the end of 1, you find out who he is, and it's a big reveal, and they sync, and they become close. And I like the idea that the 0.2 difference between them, so that, like, he's not completely human, is his eyes.
Yeah.
That's it. So Lan has brown eyes, Mega Man has green eyes. That's it. That's the 0.2 difference. And I always love thinking about that. It's like, that's... Wow.
And it was completed with a batch file.
Uh-huh. A hub.batch.
A hub.bat. So I think, kind of in conclusion, Battle Network 1 is not a good game. If you look at it from strictly a game design and mechanical standpoint, it's really not a game that you can say you have to play this. But if you're looking at it from a fan standpoint or wanting to experience something new, it's actually a pretty solid game. If you've never played a Battle Network game ever, Battle Network 1's a great place to start. If you played another Battle Network game, you're probably going to look at this and go, no style changes? Okay, whatever.
I've never actually recommended 1 to people just starting. I would say start with 2. Because it's basically 1, but better. But you are right. Like, I think if you throw yourself into the archaic age of Battle Network, and then progressively move up, you're going to be like, oh, I have an appreciation. And now, a correct disdain for Battle Network 1 in the right places.
And you've earned it.
Yes, you can't just be like, oh, yeah, I heard it sucked. Have you played it? Nah, dude, I don't need to. I heard it sucked. It's like, no, you got to put yourself into the seat. You got to take the reins, and you got to go looking for Stone Man, and then wander into the Undernet, and get deleted, and then have to start your game back at the final boss.
Yep.
God
Which,
damn.
you know. It's good times.
Yeah, good. Ooh, I'm getting PTSD thinking about this.
Rose-tinted PTSD.
Ugh. Yeah, and going back to it all, it's, for older fans, looking back at BN1, essentially, like, if you don't nitpick it and all that stuff, you look back and you say, that was a good game, you are actually looking at this through nostalgia glasses. It's just like, again, when you play Pokemon Red and Blue. When they brought that crap to the eShop and it's on the 3DS, I replayed it because I wanted to transfer stuff over to Sun and Moon.
Yeah.
Those games are horrible. They're so... ugh. And glitchy and broken and blah, blah, blah. But they need to be there. You need them. Just like the first Mega Man kind of sucks on the Nintendo Entertainment System. And Mega Man 2 is leaps and miles ahead of it. And then 3 is way ahead of that. It kind of mirrors.
You can't walk before you run.
The first Battle Network isn't very good. Second one's better. The third is the epiphany. And then it just goes from there. Sort of.
Kinda. I mean...
Sort of. 4 is coming, don't worry.
That's gonna be a pretty big deal. But, yeah.
I will find the dark soul of Mega Man.
Oh, goodbye hit points. Oh.
What's wrong? You don't like my, my 998 hit points here?
It's like, it's not even... The worst part is it's required. You have to lose... Anyway.
No, just hit me. I can't do... Ooh.
Just embrace the bad game mechanics and just go with it.
I wonder if it would have worked if they had done that earlier.
No, I don't think it would have at all. I think it would have made a bad problem worse.
You think the dart mechanic was just bad in general?
I think that it was. I think that it was the consequences for using those chips were not big enough for the power of those chips.
That's true.
But that's a discussion for another episode.
Yes. So, anything else you want to touch on with Battle Network 1?
No. Like I said, if you haven't played it or if you have an interest, a passing interest in Battle Network, even if you have played other games in the series, you kind of owe it to yourself to play where it all began, just to see how, if nothing else, to see how far the series has come. It's got a really solid story, actually, and you can kind of tell where things got their roots, and I mean, you'll notice little things that are like, hey, I know Sal. Oh, Miss Mari has a sister? What? So, yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
It's a bad game, but I like it.
Good memories, he
Good
lied.
memories.
It's a game. It exists. We love it. We hate it. It's there. We can't get rid of it. I miss my cart.
Yeah. I'm hanging on to mine for dear life.
Oh, it's the biggest regret I have is when I moved, I sold my BN games. I had all of them. All of them, even DS, my dude.
Dang. That's no good. I've got them all sitting in specialized DS-style Game Boy Advance cases.
Wow. That's okay. That's okay. I'm still working on my custom cart for Battle Network 3 Blue. I just need to get a proper Sapphire case and we're good.
There you go. I can't wait to see. It's gonna look great.
It is gonna look great. I got my vectors in and everything.
There you go. Wham bam, thank you, ma'am.
All right, so we'll wrap this up. So look forward. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We will be joining forces again to discuss and bash more Battle Network games, or hopefully not bash too much when we get to 2.
Yeah, we've got a lot of good stuff to talk about with 2.
Yes, especially some translation errors. So, MegaMasterX, thank you for joining me on this episode.
My pleasure.
I look forward to hearing your delightful voice again in the next one.
Likewise, I certainly enjoyed it. Just a little plug, though. If you haven't already, go ahead and check out my Twitter at twitter.com/MegaMasterX. You can also find me on YouTube at youtube.com/MegaMasterX. And definitely join the M1 Grand Prix competitive Battle Network community. You can find a link to the Discord in the sidebar of reddit.com/r/Battle Network. There's a link to the Discord right there. We got some tournament stuff coming up soon, so keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
Trophy
boys.
Yeah, I'm pretty hype about it, and I've got a lot of other really nice things in the pipeline. I might be teasing them on this very podcast too.
Ooh.
So,
don't you have a stream?
I do. You can also follow me at twitch.tv/MegaMasterX. I stream every Tuesday and Wednesday coming up. Times to be determined. I'll usually tweet it out, but I stream Battle Network and other games that are kind of cool. So, yeah.
Yeah, he's currently playing through Battle Network 1, which is where we got our delightful Load Chawed epiphany from.
Yes. And also Dex dabbing when he's
oh my god, that's right in front of the blackboard.
Yes.
That's something we were going to discuss, how Capcom foresaw a lot of things.
They foresaw not one, but 2 memes. Such super, so programs.
Oh god, that's right. No.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh.
They foresaw dabbing and the Doge meme.
Oh my lord.
Years
Jesus.
before they even were a thing.
Oh my god.
Truly the Simpsons of the gaming world.
We're going to New York. It only costs 9/11. Anyway.
Where can I find you, Adell?
Nowhere. No, you can find me at a ton of places. So, you can find me on Twitter, twitter.com/trainer_Adell, because I'm a snowflake like that. I'm also in the Discord with MegaMasterX. This is on the YouTube, so if you don't know where to find me, and you somehow found this, it's very odd.
You did it.
You did it. You're a winner.
Congratulations, you are a winner.
I also stream as well on off basis. I don't have as cool of a schedule as MegaMaster here. You can find me at twitch.tv/tactical_network. You can also support our Patreon. Wait a minute, we're not on that yet.
Not quite yet.
We set it up preemptively.
Oh. You can also find us at patreon.com/NS podcast.
NS, oh baby.
Prevent us from getting sued by Capcom.
And that wraps up our pilot episode of the Net Saviors podcast. Thank you all for listening in, and I hope you've enjoyed it greatly. We'll be back in a couple of weeks with our next episode on Battle Network 2. So until then, take care everyone, and keep busting those viruses. A big thank you to Kokiremix for the music used in this episode. If you'd like to hear more, be sure to check out their YouTube at Kokiremix.